Welcome back. This is the second video recording for week 4 of HEA 10002. This slide is designed to get you to think about the many ways in which culture can impact health. For example, culture affects how people define what a livable life is or what quality of life is. It affects how certain cultural groups explain health-related experiences. For example, one cause of mental illness in a certain culture is believed to be possession by ancestral spirits who have been offended and have become angry. As indicated in the final point on screen, culture also impacts expressions of pain. For example, some studies have looked at how people who give birth express pain differently during childhood. Greek and Italian mothers were observed to vocalize pain during childbirth more than do mothers from Vietnamese cultural backgrounds, a fact that, in the past, often led nursing staff to assume, incorrectly, that the former were exaggerating the pain, while the latter don't feel pain like we do, quote unquote, from a direct research paper there. When we speak broadly about culture, sometimes people make use of this concept of a continuum between individualistic and collective cultures. Most cultures fall somewhere between the two, but let's work through definitions of these extreme or anchor ends of this continuum. What is meant by a collectivist culture? In a collectivist culture, there is a focus on we rather than I, a strong emphasis on relatedness, interdependence, and family. Generally speaking, these cultures value obedience, having a common goal, cooperation, and harmony. From a health perspective, the views of the collective are likely to impact health-related decisions at the individual level. In contrast, individualistic cultures focus on the I. There is a valuing of personal autonomy, the ability to make decisions and assume personal responsibility for oneself and one's health. There is a reduced influence of the opinions or views of family or the community when it comes to making decisions. Similarly, the views of the community are less likely to exert influence or control over the individual. As suggested previously, this is an extreme, almost caricature of what is meant by individualistic cultures. Most cultures fall somewhere between individualistic and collective extremes. How might these categories impact your role as a future health professional? Well, as evident in the following case study, your position on the cultural continuum may not map perfectly onto that of the client or patient with whom you're interacting, which in turn may cause some questions to arise in a clinical setting. Let's work through a case scenario together. A health practitioner is consulting with a 28-year-old mother of 3 with regards to treatment options for her middle child. The mother seems unsure and indecisive. The health practitioner spends extra time with the mother, explaining in detail what the 2 different options entail, including the risks and benefits. The mother continues to respond in a vague, indecisive manner. The health practitioner becomes a little frustrated. She is aware that the mother is an educated woman and has been in medical settings in the past with her other children. The health practitioner has spent a lot of time with her by now and is running late for her next appointment. The following week, the mother returns. The health practitioner fears for her schedule when she sees the mother as her next patient. To her surprise, the mother is decisive and confident, and they initiate a treatment plan for the child. 2 questions appear on the screen. How might you explain the difference in the mother's demeanor from one week to the next? What factors may be influencing this exchange between the mother and the practitioner? The answer to both lie in the application of the cultural continuum model. This is articulated on the following slide. The mother has had time to go home and discuss treatment options with her husband and mother-in-law. Together, they have arrived at what they believe is the best solution. The health practitioner's culture is more individualistic, while the mother's is more collective. The health practitioner felt that she was giving the mother enough information to make a decision on the spot, as she would have done. The mother, however, felt awkward admitting that she needed to discuss these options at home first. She did not want to seem to be doubting the health practitioner's authority or advice, but would not feel comfortable making an important decision alone. On screen is a question for reflection. I'd like you to spend 10 minutes thinking about what you would have done differently in that initial exchange to improve the healthcare experience of your client. Pause the video and jot down your responses. I'm going to conclude this second video by presenting some ideas for what could have been done differently during that initial consultation. These ideas appear in your lecture slides for this week. Please refer to the weekly PowerPoint slides or pause the video here to take these in. How did you go? Did you come up with similar ideas or different ones?